Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Hivemind StarCraft 2 tournament. My name is Evolution Gaming Woodhouse, and I hope you had an absolutely fantastic spring break. But I'm back here to bring you more StarCraft 2 action from the MSU Hivemind tournament. If you haven't been keeping up with it, I definitely suggest go and watch Week 1. Those casts are all up right now, and even a little bit of extra. Blake was working a little extra hard to put out some extra content for you over the long break. Let's take a look at a recap of what happened in week number 1 of the tournament. I don't know if you can read this on the screen, and I apologize if you can't, but we see here in match number 1, Airheadlol taking out Why Am I Here 2-0, Jleli taking out Death Waffles in a close margin of 2-1, Freaks taking out SB Killer Dram 2-0, General Tyler taking out Dr. Zerg 2-0, Laser Drill taking out Blood Cooker 2-0, Scipio and Aurelius, wow. The brothers, Scipio taking out his brother 2-0, Headshot in a close victory, taking out Malevolence 2-1, and Ironhaden getting taken out by Liberator 2-0. So that actually gives you perspective of where we were last week, and now we actually move forward to this week right here, week number 2. So we look at our first match of the day, and we have Airheadlol versus Jleli, which is the game that is coming up actually right after I get done talking about all of this, so stay tuned, definitely. Next match we have Freaks versus General Tyler, Scipio versus Laser Drill, and then Headshot versus Liberator. And just as a reminder, you see here that there's only 1 week left before the finals after this week is played. Now just keep in mind that the finals are being played at our LAN on April 14th, so literally after next week's games, it comes down to the waiting game for the winner's bracket finalists. So then we look down here at the loser's bracket. Now mind you, this is the first week of the loser's bracket being played. So we have Why Am I Here versus Death Waffles, SB Killer Dram versus Dr. Zerg, Aurelius versus Blood Cooker, and Malevolence versus Ironhaden. And then you see there are a couple more weeks here that they have to fight through to get back into that bracket. But without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us take you into game number 1 between... Wow, and apparently I loaded this up wrong. But let's take you into game number 1 here between Airheadlol, spawning up here as the green Protoss player, and his Zerg opponent, Jleli, spawning as the yellow Zerg down here on the bottom right corner of the map. We do see both players just going fairly standard right now. Just open it up. Like I said, if you haven't seen any of this, go to facebook.com and find the MSU Hivemind by typing that into the little search bar. You can also keep up with some updates that get posted by Evolution Gaming. That is my clan, and I try and keep stuff updated on there as much as possible, but it doesn't usually happen, so probably not your best choice, but a shameless plug anyway. And then, of course, you can go back and watch week number 1 on YouTube at MSU Hivemind. So go ahead and go check all of that stuff out. It is definitely worth the time to go catch yourself up. There were some very fantastic games in week number 1 of this tournament. I can only imagine what week number 2 is going to bring us. More fantastic stuff, I hope. See the initial scouting probe for Airheadlol, who we will call Airhead for the majority of this cast, because the LOL just adds kind of a... It adds a ring, but not so much of a ring when you have to say it about 50 times. So there we go, going ahead and appropriately hiding the probe. It's a good move, blocking off the hatchery of Jleli, basically forcing down this spawning pool if it wasn't going down already. Going to go ahead and do a Forge Fast Expand on this map, which is GSL's Belshire Beach. Now you'll notice there's no supply depots down here like there are on all of the other GSL maps, but that's because it's the GSL. You don't see a whole lot of cheese. That and whoever designed this map, they did a fantastic job of making sure that cheese wasn't really a viable option. So we do see the pylon did finish down here, blocking the expansion of Jleli. Spawning pool just about done as well. Forge also a couple of seconds out. This drone just being pesky as all get out for Jleli. Cannon going down now. This is kind of a questionable play since I don't believe he scouted. Did he scout? Look at Airhead's view. No, he did not scout the main, so he actually does not know whether Jleli went for a hatch first. Well, he knows that he didn't go for a hatch first because he blocked the hatch, but he doesn't know whether he's actually dropped the pool down yet or not. He will get that news very shortly, though, as the Lings are on their way to go ahead and kill that pylon off. But to this point, he still has not seen it. So at that point, you could have saved yourself the 150 minerals, got your Nexus up a little bit quicker. Nothing major, though. I mean, either way works. Gateway now going down for Airhead up here. Again, look at the wonkiness of this ramp. You know, it's not a one force field ramp that Protoss is like, because Protoss is really like their one force field ramps at times. And this is not one of those. It's actually too wide to be just one. I think it takes 3 to securely wall this off. I could be wrong, but we're going to go ahead and say it's 3 just because I can do that. More Lings coming out now for Jleli, as per usual. I'm going to go ahead and go out and scout for dem expansions to see whether his opponent is trying to do something crazy. There are maps where Protoss can go ahead and take a very, very quick third. This is not one of those maps. Again, I would like to see... There we go. He's starting to get the Zealots out now. The expansion is just about done as well. Checking his... He's not going to be after he transfers, but he is almost saturated in his main. Hopefully he does keep up that production. Apparently he's also scared of using Chrono Boost. Cybernetics Core now going down. You see the supply right now is actually fairly close. Oh, and we do see Jleli going ahead and taking his quick third. It's become a fairly common thing for most Zerg players. If they see their opponent doing a Forge Fast Expand or anything like that, they're like, okay, you're going to turtle up for a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and take my expand. So they go ahead and they not only take their natural, but they do take a third as well fairly quickly. And it does put them very, 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 very far ahead. But it does look like, in fact, Airheadlol is going to try and use the Naniwa ideology and Forge Fast Expand or die trying. Excuse me, I had to take a nice drink out of the fantastic blue mug that I use while casting. Now, I was kind of torn today, guys. I'm not even going to lie. I had to choose between bringing you some fantastic SC2 action from the Hivemind or watching MLG. I'm sorry. I know it was a tough decision, but I did choose you guys in the end, right? That does mean something. But if you haven't checked that out, I would highly suggest doing it. I did get to see almost all of day number 1 of that tournament, and it was fantastic. And I would actually highly suggest you guys, if you haven't started watching it, MajorLeagueGaming.com, and I believe it's just /live. I know there is a link on the Hivemind page for that as well. We do see a Roach Warren coming down for Jleli, as well as an Evolution Chamber going for that Stefano Wallin. Overlord coming through just to get a good scout of what is actually going on in his opponent's base. And at this point, he sees not a whole lot, considering Airhead has done a very good job of just keeping his tech at the front of his base to keep it semi-hidden from his opponent. Although, we're going to check. Oh, wrong one. There we go. He does see one gateway, and he knew about the Forge Wall in at the front. So he actually, at this point, does see just about everything his opponent is doing, which, you know, could prove beneficial, could not. He didn't really scout towards the back, so there could actually be something hidden back here that he never did see. Ling's going again and checking for the third base of Airheadlol, or Airhead, sorry. I'm getting a little ahead of myself again. God damn it. Ooh, and we do see a 2-gate Stargate coming down now. This could be very beneficial as an opening. I don't know how well it plays out after the wear and tear has worn off of the Forge Fast Expand, though, considering usually when you do some sort of pressure with the Stargate early, you want to get a couple of Phoenixes out as well as the Void Rays to try and counter any natural that does pop up. But it is a little late for that now, so I'm going to assume he's just going to go ahead and pump these Void Rays just to have the Void Rays out. He could also go ahead and do one of the newer styles that is coming out of Korea, and that is to plant a pylon somewhere here on the low ground and then warp up Zealots with a +1 upgrade, which he hasn't started anything. Oh, there we go. He just did start it. But it's very, very common to use the Void Ray as a vision for the high ground, and then you warp in a line of Zealots, and the Zealots take care of all of the ground army while the Void Ray is there for the heavy support aspect of that game. Again, I would like to see him using his Chrono Boost on that level 1 upgrade, but opting instead to Chrono Boost into the 5 gateways that he has out now. So actually, yes, we are beyond the point of a +1 timing attack. So we're going to have to see what Airhead decides to do outside of this, whether it be 2 base all in, or if he decides to go some sort of 3 base if he can get it. Dropping a couple cannons down here in the back. We do see the Overseer coming in. Going to scout that tech. Oh, that is a huge giveaway right there. That is terrible for Airhead at this point. Airhead at this point also at 83 of 84, and Jleli at 111 of 126. Oh, but we do see the party deciding they're going to move out. Whoa, what was that? Did you see that? There's like blood water coming off of the back of the Stalker that runs through there. Yeah, do you see that? What is that? What is that? Apparently that's how Stalkers run. They have a little red mist behind them. Going ahead and going to do the micro action. This actually could be huge for Jleli to knock out this entire army. Airhead has to be careful about how he engages this with the armies being split like this, but it does look like he is going to clean up whatever roaches are left here from the main army. We do see the main army of Jleli going ahead and just pulling away at this point, which is fine. His thinking is, well, I've got 3 bases here, one of which you probably don't know about. If you look at Airhead's cam, no, he does not. He knows there's creep going that way, but he probably doesn't know that there's a base there. Those roaches, though, are going to be the dead giveaway that there is a base down on that lower part of the map. He's like, okay, you know what? I'm 1 base up on you. I have the macro lead. Everything is going to be fine regardless. I just have to hold this attack off. The roaches attacking from both sides. That was a terrible exchange for Airhead, letting his army die completely like that. He needed a couple of sentries in the mix to force field off things and make sure that there was nothing that could come up and sneak up on him like they did. We do see, though, that the 2 Void Rays of... 1 Void Ray, 2 Void Ray of Jleli are going to go ahead and just kind of, or Airhead are going to hang out there, while Airhead is back in his base trying to replenish his forces, dropping down a second gateway, or a second Stargate. Wow, I am just horrible at this today. I apologize, guys. Oh, and the transfuse on the Hydralisk. Oh, that is a huge loss. That is a huge investment for Airhead to lose just on a whim like that. That is too bad all the way around that had to end that way, but it did, and it's just a sad day. And Airhead now deciding to take one of the cardinal rules of playing Protoss: when behind Dark Shrine. When behind, fill in the blank. When behind Dark Shrine. Again, if you haven't watched any of the MLG matches, there have been a couple of games that have come down to some DT play in a very, very funky fashion, and I absolutely loved it. I'm hoping tonight the games are just as good as they were last night. Again, if you haven't checked any of that out, go do it. Stop watching this and go do it. Well, by the time this goes up, it'll be over. I'm sorry. Sorry. I don't want to spoil it. Airhead trying to take the ninja third, since his natural third is blocked off by the Zergling and the creep. And he does get the cancel on it, though. That is huge. He does get the cancel. It does not get destroyed. That is all to his benefit at this point. More Void Rays, more units being produced for Airhead. Jleli going to go ahead and take his 4th down here and expand to the 5th, which is the half base up here on the top. It is a rich Vespene Geyser with a half mineral patch right there as well. Again, trying to make sure that there's nothing happening over here. Looking up in the production, we do actually see that Zerg is getting level 2 weapons and carapace and a greater spire. Oh, Is Jleli going to go for like he did last week, where it's Roach Hydra or Roach Infester and then get Broodlords? That would be absolutely sick. I enjoyed watching that play. I can about imagine how it is to actually play it, but I loved watching it. It was pretty crazy to see. Now we do see level 1 air upgrades also coming out of Airhead at this point. I don't like that move so much, and the first wave of DTs is also coming through, but they are going to get picked off as the Overseer is sitting right there. I don't like the idea of level 1 air weapons in this case, mainly just because, you know, at this point in the game, you need the other upgrades more than you do the air upgrades. Your air attacks haven't been successful to this point, or you haven't been able to hold on to that air advantage, and, you know, it doesn't make sense at this point to get that. Now, whether it was a miscue or what have you, it very well might be. Changeling ending in a very brutal way. We do see Jleli is actually just about maxed out at this point. Going ahead and dropping spine crawlers at that base just to make sure it is extra secure. Going ahead and taking advantage of the extra mining that those drones do. Sending the whole army to take out the one Overseer that goes splat at the back of the base. 128 to 184 food now. Another Void Ray popped out as well. Again, Greater Spire already done, so he can start the Broodlord producing action. He does have 3 of them in production right now, along with the rest of his army sitting out here. Both players just content to macro right now. So now the thing with Jleli, and as we saw last week, or actually what was 2 weeks ago, is he's a very, very slow, deliberate push once it starts. You know, he's all over the map with all sorts of things before the push starts, but once that push starts, it's a very, very slow, deliberate, stay with the Broodlord style push, which is very, very good. Works out fantastically for him. He's about 10 supply under cap. I'm assuming that's to keep a little bit of room for the Broodlords as they spawn. He is getting level 3 ground carapace and level 1 air weapons at this point. Like I said, I would love to have seen Airhead take full advantage of all of those upgrades that come out of the Forge. And actually, it has begun. We do see more Broodlords trying to morph in as well. And, oh, yes. Oh, that is a huge loss. 2 Archons. That is huge. Those were 2 very, very gas-heavy Archons. That, I guess gas-heavy sounds stupid. They were very mineral-heavy, though, because they were DT Archons. So, yeah, they were very, very... They were heavy from both aspects of it, so to say. Oh, this... Changeling's running up, picking one off. Going ahead and attacking the gateway. Killing a stalker! Oh no, Airhead, that's not what you want to do, Airhead! Oh no. Picking out his own units before he can spot the changelings, that is not good at all. Airhead, that's not how you want to go out, man. Going ahead and taking out the other 3. We do see the army of Jleli going to just go ahead and chill up here. Like I said, once this slow push starts, and it looks like it just now is, it is hard to fend off as a Protoss player. Just Zerg in general, with how fast they can reproduce, and if they're keeping up on their macro, it definitely benefits them in the long run to have a large maxed out army. You see the Broodlords starting to work away on that army, but the Void Ray is there to counter with the +1, taking out 1 Broodlord, 2 Broodlords, 3 Broodlords, 4, 5 Broodlords, almost 6 Broodlords, 7 Broodlord more. Not quite. The army of Airhead getting completely obliterated, expecting a GG at any point. Now there's just nothing he has left. There's nothing he can do about it. This army going ahead and some Desperation DTs getting warped in at the moment to try and deal with this army, but it is not enough. This is going to be a GG at any point now. Oh my god, just destruction and rampage. And there's the GG from Airhead, LOL. So in game number 1, we just saw Jleli again playing with this very, very deliberate style of Zerg. Roach Hydra, Broodlord, and Corruptor. All very, very solid ways to play it. And as you can see, once that slow push starts, it is hard for a Protoss player to stop. So that is game number 1 between Airhead, LOL, and Jleli. That is match number 1 of week number 2 of the Hivemind StarCraft 2 tournament. Again, my name is Evolution Gaming Woodhouse. I will be back with game number 2 and subsequently the winner's bracket through the rest of my casts here with you shortly. So we'll see you in a bit, guys. Thanks for tuning in.